I think the food and drink industry faces three main challenges through Brexit. First of all, there's availability of labour and the future of our workforce. Secondly, there's the whole question of the regulatory framework in which we operate. Will it be more fragmented than it is at the present? And thirdly, the question of customs and tariffs and how we will be able to import and export through what we hope will be frictionless borders of the kind we have today. Maintaining those three areas in their current state is our absolute priority.
There's a huge job to do in that 95% of regulations are sitting with the EU at the moment, and we need to bring them over in a lift and shift process. Then there'll be longer term aspects to look at, such as regulatory equivalence. But also, very early on, we'll need to think about risk assessment and risk management, because it may be that we don't have access to agencies in Europe such as the European Food Safety Authority.
There are multiple things that could affect us, I think, with Brexit. Firstly, our supply chains as an industry span multiple countries. The second thing which I think makes a big impact is ability to recruit the right people to actually run our businesses. That may be highly skilled expats who are coming in to run organisations, or it may be the people who are coming as seasonal workers. And then the third one, which I think we've seen some of already, is exchange rate volatility. Because clearly that drives input costs, it drives uncertainty for us as organisations about our costs and our finances, and therefore that can be quite unhelpful.
It's absolutely essential that the Brexit negotiations manage to get the border questions sorted for food and drink. The reality is that we've got raw materials, we've got processing, and we've got bottling and canning and packaging involved in food manufacturing, and that requires product to travel back and forward across the border 4, 5, sometimes 6 times. If we don't get this right, and if we're faced with delays, if we're faced with additional customs and certification, this is going to be a huge cost and an impossibility for food and drink businesses.
Our biggest fear for Brexit is to make sure that our firms can actually weather the storm that's coming. And at the moment, there's no indication that we've really got all the systems around customs and tariffs to make that as easy as possible. There's systems for consulting with the industry on new trade deals that might have an impact on the industry. And there are systems and ideas about how we export, and in particular around things like export health certificates for animal produce.
Organisations like the FDF, it's so important now that they are able to bring together what could be disparate voices in this sector to be able to speak confidently and coherently to government, to make sure their points of view are understood as we're formulating our policies and ideas. And things like the FDF Round Table, which they've been running now for over a year, which every month brings together more than 40 trade associations with key parts of government. All of those departments can come together to really understand in much more detail what the food and drink industry need to be ready for exit and to really maximise the possibilities of Brexit.
We all now need to engage in the debate. That means members talking to their MPs, talking to their peers, making sure that they have explained to every possible parliamentarian the level of threat and what can be done about it.